Alright, cards, what will you give me? Pop Eyes. Ooh, yeah, the restaurant that has, the fried chicken. I love their chicken. Carbs, yeah. Yep, we know what carbs are. So, 2 food things. Pit bulls. Yeah, there's a pit bull in the neighborhood next to mine that was once barking at me, but of course he was all fenced up, so I didn't need to worry about him. And last of all, Wasteland. Ooh. Okay, so which prompt will these go best with? Let's see here. Weave the threads, all sea and ravens, high seed, price of knowledge, written in fate, whispers of the past, sacrifice for wisdom. I think I'll draw some more cards. Let's see here. Hip hop. The Supreme Court. Please no politics. Wonder Woman. Skydiving. Well, in the end, though, I will have to acknowledge that the high seat seems to go pretty well with the Supreme Court, so in the end, I'll go with that prompt. Alright, so that will make it perfect and fitting for me to read The Last Council. And it will definitely be a very quick, fast read, so yay. So today is April 11th. I wish I could say otherwise, but we have only 4 days left now in Vikingathon, and I only just now picked book 2, and the reason why is because of how life happened. I had a lot going on at home during that time. And it also took me longer to read this than I expected. But in the end, though, it was still well worth it. In fact, I even kind of take back some kind of negative things I said about before. So, see, for a bit here on Gemina by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. See, this is the second book in the Illuminate trilogy. It is this young adult sci-fi kind of, space opera, military sci-fi. The idea is that Illuminate group is a group who's trying to gather evidence against this company called Bitech for when they've attacked innocent people. And so the first book, Illuminate, was really, great from beginning to end, showing us the story of, Katie and Ezra, 2 characters who I really loved a lot. And so the second book, Gemina, begins in a different place with different characters. And at first it was really difficult to read because of how, at first, Hannah and Nick, the 2 main characters here, at first I really didn't like them. And so at first I found the first 100 pages or 200 pages to not really be that great. So at first I was really hugely disappointed. But in the end, I continued reading. And I'm glad I did because it does eventually get better. In fact, it got really, really good near the end. Yeah, I don't want to give away what happens in these books, just that it's incredibly original. See, these books are all in epistolary form, and so they actually are faster paced than they seem. This seems really chunky here with 600 pages, but you can actually read it very quickly because it has lots of double space and many pages, and there's just kind of a few words with an illustration, because of how it's all supposed to be chat logs, security footage. It does in the end up having some really, really good plot twist. It was so impressive. It's so postmodern, experimental, so original. So in the end I was satisfied, and now I'll see how many books I can read in the next 4 days for Vikingathon. Hey, so reporting back, yeah, this was a pretty fun read. This is the 4th book in the Amulet series, and so I don't want to give away that much, because of how I wouldn't want to spoil the other books. You'll have to read the other books first, In short, Emily has made it to this city in the sky called Salus, and she ends up finding out that she has to go through some test to be able to have a place in the council. And like all the other books, it has really, really beautiful graphics, and I like the way it tells the story with just pictures. Although the plot did get a little messy near the end, it had some just kind of random Deus Ex Machinas that just made me go, oh, okay. But it was still enjoyable. So I'm going to draw cards again for my next pick. This time I'm going to use the green cards. I'm going to have to think about this for a bit because I do see how this could apply to quite a few of these prompts involving like secrets, mysteries, or learning the truth, or sacrifice for wisdom. So I'll have to think about it a bit. So you know what, I realize now how like for all the Sea and Ravens, one that would perfectly fit there is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This has been added to my April TBR since I'm trying to read 30 and 30 in April, so I'll be reading this next. Hey, I finished reading this and I'm so glad that I did. It was so fun to read like the original source material, like see the film, the musical, with Gene Wilder. I've seen that one like hundreds of times. But it's even better in the book. The book, like, has so much of the whimsicalness, all the quirkiness. And the book also just kind of really conveys, like, its overall kind of theme even more powerful. It's even stronger the way that it deals with how, these naughty children and their bad parents reach their ill fates. So yeah, if you haven't read this before, be sure to. It brought back so many childhood memories. A lot of those Roald Dahl books, like, I haven't, like, really looked at since my childhood, so I'm going to need to make sure that I go reread, stuff and read stuff I haven't read yet. So, yeah, with that aside, I'm going to now pick my next read. Okay. Kanye West. Moist towelette. Okay, why do the selections have to be so unpleasant? Flesh-eating bacteria? Massage chairs? Okay, that's something good. Let's see, should I keep going? Let's see, what prompt would be associated the most with, like, unpleasantness? So I think I could go for either Price of Knowledge or Sacrifice for Wisdom. We're basically saying I have to go through some unpleasantness to get to something good. Let's see here. Let me narrow down my options. So in the end, I'm going to go for Price of Knowledge, and I think Lily's Crossing should go with that. So this is middle grade historical fiction, World War II. So it says that Lily has found this boy named Albert who has secrets, and she herself has secrets. She's told a lie, he's told a lie, so I can tell that when the truth comes, there's going to be a price to pay. So see if I can read this. Today is the 13th. I'll try and finish this by the end of the 15th. That'd be nice. Hey, so I just realized that I never followed up with this as I finished reading this a couple days ago. So yeah, Lily's Crossing. This is a really good book. I give it 5 stars. So this is historical fiction in World War II. So Lily's from around like the New York City area. And so she stays in this summer house out on the beach with her grandmother, and her father's going out to war. And I like how this story deals a lot with childhood innocence. Like, isn't it Lily feels the need to like tell lies to impress others or to feel good about herself? But she does pay the price for that. Her aunt and uncle are taking care of this new young boy who's from Hungary. He's an orphan and a refugee of the war. And so when Lily makes up stories and tells these lies, it ends up giving him some bad ideas. You see himself as pretty, kind of desperate to go find his sister because his sister, had to be left behind in France. And so I love how this story does so well, portraying the childhood innocence that many of us, can relate to. And it does well portraying, just how hard, life would have been back, during World War II. It's just so sincere, and I really like the theme. It was, a very good, I think it was a very good message here for kids with what Lily learns about honesty. So, kind of story that, I wish that everyone would read. I think every school should, assign this to kids here. So, that's the end of Vikingathon. Thank you so very much, Anna, for hosting it. And so please tell me in the comments, did you participate? What did you read? Have you read any of the books that I mentioned? What do you think of them? Or if you're not feeling chatty, just leave a comment where you have an emoji of the book pile, the good old book stack like this one here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget that you matter, and in the words of Brian Regan, take a look.